Futurists are part of a relatively new profession, anticipating and preparing for change in order to make better decisions today. Chicagoan David Houle is known as the CEO's futurist. He advises business owners around the world, writes highly regarded books, blogs, and newsletters, and formerly was involved in the creation of MTV, Nickelodeon, and CNN Headline News. Good to have you here with us tonight, David.
Pleasure to be here, Bob.
In the past, you've made some pretty good predictions about everything from the election of President Obama to the price of a barrel of oil, the subprime problem that sent us into a global decline. Is it just that you have a better gut than most of us? How do you do it?
Well, to some degree, I have a better gut, but I always say I'm never the smartest guy. I just think about the future more than anybody else does. Everybody's looking in their own lives, and I cast it widely and look broadly.
It's something that a lot of people try to do, and you're making a profession of it, and you're doing pretty well. You're in great demand, and I'm trying to get at how you do it.
Well, I really just look. I say I'm the most shallow, broad-based intellectual grazer you could imagine. I look at everything. I try to connect dots, pattern recognition. I try to see directions. I mean, you can never be absolutely 100% sure about what's going to happen, but I think I can give people a sense, a high probability sense. For example, 3 years ago I coined the phrase, thrift would be the new cool. Thrift would be the new extravagance, and that's obviously come to be. People have just cut back on spending, and they've cut back on spending across the board, and instead of going out and buying the new car, they're proud that they've got 200,000 miles on their own car.
Sure.
And they're saving.
Well, when we have a week like we've had this week,
right.
Stock market having difficulties, unemployment numbers not good, are we so used to it now that we're not going to go through any more radical change? We have been shocked so much with the economy that we're, in a way, almost oblivious to these dips that we're experiencing now. How is it affecting us now?
I think it's profoundly affecting us. You and I are baby boomers, so we were raised by depression-age parents. And they were scarred for a lifetime by that depression. A penny saved is a penny earned, right? And I think the consumer, the American consumer, has been scarred. I said this 2 years ago about the time that Lehman Brothers went down. In other words, things we believed in, ever-increasing real estate values, 401ks being safe, would prove to be false. So we've been scarred, so we're not spending, so we're holding back. For 17 straight months, the pay down of consumer debt has occurred. That's unprecedented. Savings rates are 12 times higher than they were right before the stock market crash. So we're scarred, we're holding back. Baby boomers are worried if they'll ever able to retire. Millennials are seeing that everything's messed up, so everyone is just holding back. And good news, bad news affects the markets more than I think it affects us. We've just been conditioned to be very cautious.
Yeah, that's what I mean. We're sort of in that right. zone, regardless of a temporary up, which we haven't had too many of. iPhones, iPads, e-books. Are we going to stop buying the new technology because it's not cheap?
That's interesting. That is the one place where there's consistently increasing sales. People have gone back, found out they've had too much stuff. They don't need to buy any more clothes. They don't need more shoes. They make their car last longer. But they want to be connected, and they want to be connected fast, and they want it at their fingertips because time and place have separated. So as long as I can be connected, I can be anywhere. The iPad, of course, is a huge success. The Kindle has just dropped in price. So I think it's technology that is really the consistent thing. In the fourth quarter, you're going to hear sales are flat, but technology sales are up.
Now, you've written on your blog, haven't you, that what's on your reader is going to replace the line,
That's
what's
right.
on your iPod.
Right, exactly. It was 6 months before the Kindle came out in the middle of '07, and ebooks had about a 0.5% share of the total book market. And I wrote a column at the time saying I thought by 2025, half of all books would be ebooks, and I was ridiculed. Then the Kindle came out, now the iPads come out, and my prediction in my column I wrote a couple of weeks ago was that we'll get to that 40 to 50% by 2015. We're currently at 7%. I think after Christmas, will be the iPad dropped in price because there'll be a new one. The Kindles, the Nooks, all of them will be the #1 gift item, if you will, for Christmas. And as a result, we're going to have 10, 12% of all books being bought will be electronic books, ebooks.
Well, I know there's a lot more on the website. It's evolutionshift.com, correct?
That's my blog, and then my website is davidhool.com. Pretty easy to remember.
And do you update that on a weekly basis?
Oh, yeah, regularly. And I also have a YouTube channel, and most of the time, as you know, I'm on airplanes giving talks around the world, so I write on airplanes, basically, to fill in the time.
And you're telling companies what to expect down the road.
Absolutely right. I've been saying there's going to be no inflation until the end of next year, that thrift is going to stay. Unfortunately, I think we're going to have over 9% unemployment through the end of next year. That's very unfortunate, but it's because of all the larger dynamics we probably don't have time to go into this time, but that's one of the unfortunate things. It really is.
Interesting stuff. Always good to be with you, David. As I've said to you, the hardest part of interviewing you is figuring out the intro, because when you say futurist, folks think, well, Kreskin's going to come out here.
Yeah, no, I left my crystal ball at home tonight. So.
All right. Have a safe trip.
Thank you.
You're off again to give some advice, and we'll see you back here again.
I look forward to it.
Whenever
Thanks,
you have
Bob.
a chance.
Thanks.